Listen up, folks. The Southern Poverty Law Center just got federally indicted for what may be the most cartoonishly evil grift in modern American history. The kind of plot Hollywood would reject as too on the nose. Here's the FBI director with the details.
What we're here today is to announce what the general just told you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in a massive, sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. I just want to talk about a couple of brief things here. The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertise to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade. They use their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups. However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups. I just want to say that again. They used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups. The groups, as the general laid out, include the Ku Klux Klan, the United Klans of America, Unite to Right, National Alliance, the National Socialist Movement, the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club, and the National Socialist Party of America, and also the American Front. In at least one of these matters, our investigation revealed that funds were used to facilitate the commission of further state and federal offenses, totaling over $3 million. Furthermore, our investigation revealed that the Southern Poverty Law Center, on top of perpetuating this widespread, decade-long, multi-million-dollar fraud, conducted more criminal activity. They attempted to hide their criminal activity from our financial banking network. They set up shell companies and entities around America so that the financial institutions that we rely on as everyday Americans were deceived in believing that money was not coming from the Southern Poverty Law Center in the perpetration of this scheme and fraud, but rather fictitious entities they stood up to perpetuate this ongoing fraud. This is a serious and egregious violation of a group that purported to dismantle violent extremist groups, but in turn actually only fueled the hatred. This is an important case brought by President Trump's administration. We're thankful to the president for his leadership and funding of not just the FBI and DOJ, but his commitment to go out there and wipe out fraud and conspiracy and waste and abuse wherever it occurs, including the Southern Poverty Law Center. Even though this money was made to appear to be coming from legitimate people and legitimate entities, we at the FBI, with our great partners at the Department of Justice and in the state of Alabama, were able to comb through a decade worth of material, a scheme that took a decade to build, so that we were able to follow the money, because money never lies, and they got caught. As the Attorney General said, these charges are varying, they are widespread and wide-ranging, and this investigation is very much ongoing. Today we're here to announce the charges of the Southern Poverty Law Center, and this investigation and the individuals who are responsible will be brought to justice. Thank you, General.
So here's how it worked. The SPLC spent years mailing tearful pleas to little old liberal ladies. Send us money to fight the rising tide of hate. The Nazis are coming. The Klan is everywhere. And well-meaning people emptied their wallets, dipped into their purses, and raided their grandkids' college funds, all to keep America safe from the bigots. And what did the noble SPLC do with that cash? Did they fight the hate? No, they funded it. $3 million funneled straight to actual leaders and members of white supremacist groups, neo-Nazis, and assorted extremists through shell companies with names that read like a writer's room joke, Fox Photography, Rare Books Warehouse. Because nothing screams fighting hate like cutting six-figure checks to the guys waving swastikas while telling your donors with a straight face that you're the only thing standing between America and slavery, the sequel. It's the perfect business model. Manufacture the virus, sell the cure. Except instead of malware, these clowns were manufacturing racism, bankrolling the Klan cosplayers because actual hate kept drying up and the donation gravy train needed fuel. And if their fundraising fertilizer happened to grow some real-world violence, even better. They painted bullseyes on the backs of mainstream conservatives and Christians. They labeled the Family Research Council, a Christian advocacy group whose great sin was believing in traditional marriage, an anti-gay hate group. A man named Floyd Corkins saw that label on the SPLC's website, picked up a gun and a sack of Chick-fil-A sandwiches, and walked into the FRC's offices intending to massacre people. He admitted it. The SPLC basically handed him the GPS coordinates, the motive, and a side of waffle fries. Fast forward to 2025. The SPLC slots Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk into their Year in Hate report, neatly shelved beside actual Klansmen. Their Hatewatch newsletter signal boosts him the day before he speaks at Utah Valley University. The next day, Charlie Kirk is assassinated on a college campus by a sniper firing from 142 yards out. Coincidence? Or the wholly predictable result of decades spent telling unstable people that disagreement equals literal Nazi-level evil? The SPLC isn't an anti-hate organization. They're an emanator of hate. They aren't the filter, they're the source. They don't reduce division. They mass produce it. They jack up the social tax on disagreeing with leftist orthodoxy by pinning a scarlet H on you, bigot, extremist, threat to democracy, until polite society can't be seen with you in a Whole Foods. And now the mask is off. Federal charges, wire fraud, bank fraud, money laundering, 11 counts, all because they couldn't resist keeping the hate industrial complex profitable for one more fiscal year. So the next time some smarmy activist waves the SPLC hate map at you like it's holy scripture, remember this: the real hate wasn't coming from the people they smeared. It was coming from the smug, self-righteous grifters in Montgomery, Alabama, and from the rest of the leftist NGO ecosystem that needs you to believe America is overrun with Nazis, or they have to find real jobs. The Southern Poverty Law Center, where fighting hate means writing the haters' paychecks, a world-class grift. They take your money to set the world on fire, then sell you the extinguisher. Let this be a wake-up call for America.